Hello YouTube, this is Alex with Precision Auto Source, and today I got a Volkswagen Touareg TDI. This is most likely one of my favorite mid-size SUVs because it packs a lot of stuff for the money. I mean, it is incredible what this car or SUV can do at this price point. I'm just going to walk around where it's going to kind of be like my general overview opinions of this SUV, and also a video of the condition of this particular one since it will be up for sale. So first I'm going to go around it, and then while I'm going around it I will also talk a little bit about the Touareg. So this is the Touareg 3, aka T-Reg. This is not the last generation. The last generation is in Europe. We unfortunately don't have it, but this is the last generation in the US, which I think is the best one to date. The Touareg 1 and Touareg 2, great cars, great SUVs, but they did have their fair share of issues. I won't get into too deep into that, but out of all the engines, I'm going to start with that. I will say that the TDI, the 3.0 diesel that this one is equipped with, was the best one. This is the latest diesel version of it, and I will pop up the hood just to show you. The Touareg 2 had a diesel as well that I have owned personally as well. Nice and clean here. Speaking of the engine, very reliable engine. They've had this engine in Europe even before we got it for a very long time. A lot of the people in Europe are crazy about this engine just because it's pretty much bulletproof. I mean, it does have some issues, but rare ones. I'm not going to say that it's a problematic engine. It's more reliable than problematic when compared to other cars. So let me take a look inside of this one. So the Touareg 3 is basically the updated version of obviously the 1 and the 2, and they've changed a couple of things. One that I could recall, the seating actually can't do it one-handed, but the benches move forward and backwards. There's a lot more leg room in the back with the T3 versus the T2 and T1. And obviously the ergonomics have changed outside, inside, body styling inside. This one is the sport version with navigation, and it has the aluminum trim and the piano black as well. It looks stunning, I think. Very sporty looking. Does not have a moonroof, which I love. I don't want to worry about sunroofs leaking or not that they leak, but I don't want to worry about, sun beating on my head. The sunshade was the one that had the problems. I know that they're kind of problematic in the Tiguan, not the Touareg, but even though there's a possibility that something might go bad with it, the more gadgets you have, you guys know how that goes. So if it doesn't have it, for me it's even better. So this is the rear, plenty of cargo space. You have the shade or the cover, and this spare, if you haven't seen how this one inflates, it's pretty cool. If you want to watch a video on YouTube, pretty cool how when you put it on there, how it becomes. Does have an automatic closing tailgate. Tow package. Speaking of the tow package, these tow, I believe, over 7,000 pounds. Tongue weight, from what I remember, around 740, 770. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. This is a Jacksonville car. No rust, absolutely clean. In fact, it just came from the dealer. Walking around it. Now, the TDIs that were recalled, I'm not going to get into that whole fiasco and whole story, which, if you ask me, let's not comment on that actually. But the emission part of it has been fixed, and they now provide an extended warranty. So if anything went wrong with these cars, it was emission based. Just like the BMW as well, the X5s, the 335Ds, they've all had their fair share of issues. The difference is that the Touareg now covers them for an extended period of time. The Touareg as well is one of the few cars that I know, one of the few German cars that I know, that offers a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. That's right, 10 years, 100,000-mile powertrain, which is unheard of in the German world. So kudos to Volkswagen for doing that. They're reliable cars. Obviously, they wouldn't be doing that if they didn't. Another thing that I like is the way the doors close. You hear that? Just a nice thump. No rattles, no shakes. You don't see the metal flexing when you close it, trembling. It's just a nice solid close. It is built like a tank, just like the previous generations. Same thing with this one. It does also have, if you could see, the weather stripping all around, everywhere. So for the money, you are getting an SUV that was built to last, not like its counterparts in the same class, German or not. If you were to compare to, I'd say, a Japanese counterpart, very subpar when you're comparing it to the Touareg. Also has, you know, little things that my OCD self keeps in mind. It has felt in the door pockets. All the wheel arches are insulated, so that helps in road noise, obviously. Cabin is extremely nice, and I think, being in 2020 now, still very up to date. This one does come equipped with navigation, heated seats. Transmission is a 8-speed ASIN transmission, and it's buttery smooth. Big improvement over the previous generation. Has a little cubby hole over here. Glove box, all the books. Let's see if this one actually has the original sticker. It does. So let's take a look how much this thing was when it was new. So 2012 Touareg TDI Sport with nav. As you can see, I was telling you, 10 years, 100,000 warranty. And it does have, obviously this one has 129, so that would be expired. However, it still has extended warranty for the emission. And the extended warranty for the emission, I can't remember everything that it covers, but it covers more than I thought. One of the main things that it covers that I didn't even know myself it covered was the turbocharger. So it covers the turbocharger, the catalytic converters, the EGR, the sensors, a lot of stuff, even the coolant pipes I've read. So that's excellent to have. So I'm focusing here on the package and options. As you can see, there are none. The only thing we have is a first aid kit, and that to me is amazing, that the car already comes with so many features in stock form like this. And here is also the changes that they've done, the additional warranty. As you can see, if the warranty is expired, they give another 4 years, 48,000 miles from the date of the emission modification. So you are covered if anything were to go wrong. Audio system is decent, I would say above average. Bluetooth streaming, does have Bluetooth for your phone. It does have, actually I have to get out of here so I can show you one of the things that I forgot the new Touareg 3 had, which I thought was pretty cool. Has a plug in the back, so you can plug in your accessories, charge something. How cool is this? Still has a ashtray in the back, both doors. Stuff like this that obviously I don't smoke, a lot of people don't anymore, but it's cool to have. So this being a 2012, I want to just show you a couple of things where I think it has above standard quality. Mercedes, BMW, you know the switches all the time, they go bad. All the time you see white parts because of the black coming off. Same thing with the switches on the doors. Buttons around here. As you can see, everything is intact. And this is a 2012 with 129,000 miles. So it has had some use. It's a two-owner car. It's very clean. But, as I said, miles are miles. So looking at this shows you the quality of these SUVs. Let's take it for a drive. And another thing that I'm sure you noticed, 520 miles range, and I don't even have a full tank. How amazing is that? So there we go, 128, 988,000 miles. I have in the past towed while I owned one of these a while back. Tows beautifully. You don't even feel you have something in the back. I towed a 5,000-pound trailer, absolutely no issues. So if you're thinking about buying an SUV to also tow, this would definitely be superior to something in its same class. Let's say from a Japanese, let's say MDX. I would much rather have this. Low-end torque. This thing has over 400 pounds of torque. 424, I want to say, to be exact. If not, correct me, I forgot. I keep confusing BMW numbers with TDI numbers, but it just goes. I mean, you want power, it just puts you in your seat. It's not a lazy car. It gets up and goes. It's very zippy, very easy to drive around town. And that brings me to what I wanted to discuss. Another car that's in the same category as the BMW X5, which I personally own in diesel form. One main feature one main aspect that I noticed is that the Touareg is a lot easier to drive than the BMW. And what do I mean by a lot easier to drive? Well, we all know that BMW steering is heavy, especially when a woman is driving it. That, you know, might not be the best thing for them. So the Touareg, obviously the steering is a lot lighter. It feels lighter on its feet, and zippier in turn. So I think overall the Touareg is a lot easier to drive, and I'm comparing it to a E70 X5 for those of you who are wondering. So I think that's the closest generation to this that they were made in the years this one was produced, even though this one went a little bit longer. So I am thinking of doing a comparison of both, since I own both of them. And let me know what you guys think if you would like to see that. And I could compare multiple things about the two cars. But going back to the Volkswagen, I think it is definitely a underestimated car for those that don't know about it. For those that do know about it, you know that it's a gem of a vehicle that will give you plenty of years of enjoyment and usability. As you can see, the cabin is very quiet. There's absolutely, for those of you that don't know, there's no diesel smell. There's none of that 80s stuff. New diesels, even now with the emission components that they've updated, there's absolutely no smell, none of that. So don't worry that just because it's a diesel, you think that it's gonna, make black smoke or have the diesel smell. That will not happen. Mileage obviously is a key factor in owning a diesel. That it gets extremely good gas mileage, and the gas mileage can be even further improved with some modifications that I'm not going to touch in this video, but I'm sure those of you that are looking already know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is the 2012 Volkswagen Touareg, and these were made, the Touareg 3 was made from 2011 all the way up, I believe, until 2016, 17. Don't recall if the diesel was made all the way until 17 or not. but I believe 16 for sure. And you guys could, again, correct me if I am wrong. I'm a little bit rusty on the Touareg data. But all in all, a wonderful car. Whoever's going to buy this particular one will be extremely happy.